This right here is my 2004 Mitsubishi Evo 8. If you do take a look, you can see it is an RS model. However, it does have this GSR motor swap into it, as you can see by this ABS harness I have. Now this car is far from being complete, but it is starting to get close, and I do have a list of things that I do need to get done on the car in order to get it ready to be E-tuned, or I guess remote tuned, by Black Sheep Tuning. And though that list does have many things on it, the first stop that we are gonna make is gonna be right over here to check out these new guys. What we have here are a new to me set of used ID 1000 injectors. For anyone who doesn't know, these are an older style of injector from Injector Dynamics, the newer style being the ID 1050Xs. These are a little bit more dated, but for a car like this, for the power that I'm trying to make, these are gonna be perfect. Did pick them up used from a guy named, well, on his Instagram, it's Victor Zorro, but it's Dean Automotive. If you're into Evos, you might have seen him in the group. He buys and parts out Evos, and definitely check him out, because honestly, I got a good deal on these guys. So the first thing I will have to do with these, see they're dirty, so I'm gonna get them cleaned, flow tested professionally, and then replace all the seals. What that does bring me to is the fuel system on the Evo. Let's go check it out. So if you look, I did spend a lot of time meticulously cleaning the fuel rail and replacing all the injector connectors, repainting and refinishing the pressure regulator. I spent a lot of time doing this in the idea that I was gonna keep the car very close to stock, keep it as stock as possible, but that kind of went out the window when I wanted to hit a 350 wheel horsepower mark on the stock turbo, and I kind of realized the stock injectors just were too small for that. But with injectors, we also are gonna need a fuel pressure regulator and a rail, which that leads me to this guy right over here. So for anyone that doesn't know, this is my 2018 Subaru STi. You might have seen it on the channel before, just in the background of my videos, because it's been mostly Evo content. But this guy, plan with him is to build it. Quick review, it spun a rod bearing a while back. I rebuilt the motor, FP turbo, better fuel system, AEM 340 in the tank. But this guy right here is what we're gonna be after. Obviously we do need a fuel pressure regulator, and I figure if I do need one for the Evo, and I have a perfectly good one sitting right here, might as well go ahead and cannibalize this guy for the Evo. And so with that being said, probably gonna go ahead, throw it on a time lapse, and go ahead and try to get that fuel pressure regulator out of the car. Alright, so we do have the fuel pressure regulator out. You can tell I'm not a mechanic, I'm a YouTube guy, based on my kid's Band-Aid and the fact that I never wear gloves and cut myself. But now that we get that all set, we can go ahead and throw this on the bench. But in any event, I'm gonna go ahead, jump on the Evo, start trying to get the fuel rail off, fuel injectors, fuel lines, and then once that's done, then we can go ahead and start trying to install, or I guess try to find somewhere to mount the fuel pressure regulator. So sorry about all the time lapses, but let's jump on it. Well, thankfully we do have time lapses, because it took forever just to get like the clips off for the injectors that keep the connectors on. So thankfully there's that. Basically all we have now is we got to do two 14mm bolts that are going to be holding in the fuel rail here and down under here. And then the only other thing we have is the fuel pressure regulator. Just have to disconnect some lines, and then I guess we don't really have to take these bolts out until after we get the fuel rail off the car. But so why don't we just go ahead and get that done. Okay, so here's what we got. Fuel rail off, as you can see. Yes, these are smaller injectors, but they are definitely more powerful. It is kind of crazy to think that these big fat guys can't produce as much as these little guys. We are kind of a little bit in a waiting game right now, because there are a few things that I need to get in order to be able to install all this. So basically I can go ahead, mount the fuel pressure regulator. I can't really run the lines yet. I am still deciding whether or not I want to pull the trigger on a aftermarket fuel rail. This guy right here, the stock one, it will do its job. It should be fine for the 350 wheel horsepower range. For me, I'm just wondering, like, do I go ahead and make AN lines or just kind of run with regular fuel line hoses and just use like clamps on it? So I'm kind of still deciding that. There are a few things though that I do have in my cart on multiple websites, kind of trying to see if I can get a discount code for leaving it in the cart. What I do have is I do have a resistor pack delete. So going from the stock fuel injectors, they are low impedance injectors, and to be able to run the high impedance ones for the newer ID injectors, you do need a resistor pack delete. You can go ahead and just hack up the resistor and splice everything together and it will work, but I would rather just have, again, it be easily reversible and not be an issue in the future if the car ever went back to like complete stock. One of the things that we are going to be needing to add to that cart, well, it's in the cart, but I need to buy, is going to be a plug and play harness. If you look at these ID injectors, they are, I believe it's USCAR or USCAR, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but that is the type of connector that these are. Where the stock injectors, where are they? There you are. These guys right here, these are Denzos. And so basically we're gonna have a harness that just plugs right into here and then goes right into there. So it's all plug and play. Don't have to be chopping anything up, because to be honest, I went through and replaced all those connectors because some of them were broken. So I don't wanna go ahead and just have to now take off the connectors that I just spent my time repinning and, you know, re-putting on the car. But so now that we have that out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead, try and see if I can go ahead and find a spot to mount up the fuel pressure regulator, and hopefully we'll be able to find something with the bracket that I have, because if not, we're gonna have to try to make a bracket, I guess. So let's jump on it. All right, so this is it. Got it all set up. It's the same bracket that I was using. I just have it bolted here, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw it on this little stud that I have extra down here. So it's just gonna mount right up here, and then I have a nut that I'm going to put on just to hold it in place. Up here is probably better. I don't really use these, so that should be a good spot to go. And if I don't like it, I can just change it later. So yeah, I'm just using like a random nut that I found. Whoever did do the paint on this car before, they did paint it. But you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and just try to clean this thread up real quick. Okay, so I did go ahead, got this guy all set up. Hopefully it's a good spot. I think it is. Wasn't too hard to just use, like I said, a random nut. But got the fuel pressure right here all lined up. So now I guess we'll just move on to the next thing. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do, because really I don't have any more fuel system stuff to do, because like I said, I do have to get those injectors tested and cleaned. And also I am still kind of trying to decide whether I wanna do, like, build my own fuel lines. I kind of think it'd be really cool. I've been seeing a lot of builds lately that have like the quick connect ones. It's AN fittings into a quick connect. So I kind of think that'd be really cool to do, but I kind of have to look into it a little bit more, see if it's what I want to do. So moving on to the next thing, I'm going to try and get this done. It's pretty quick. So something that I have been wanting to do for a while and haven't really gotten a chance to, I feel like it kind of completes the build a little bit, is if you do look, I got no rear emblem. So I did measure this, and it is 48 inches from this tip over to this tip. So I'm just gonna measure over 24 inches, dead center in the middle, and that's where I'm gonna put the top diamond on the emblem. So let's see how it goes. Just a little bit of water, clean it off with the microfiber. For anyone that does need to know, that right there is the part number. Alright, so I don't know if you can see it in here. I just have a piece of tape here. This line right here on this side, that is 24 inches. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to line this up first, and then see if I can get it to look nice somewhere. I mean, it's hard when you don't actually have anything to go off of. Alright, I'm just gonna give it a go. It is kind of on like a little bit of a bend, but I mean, it seems like in the pictures that's what people do, so that's what I'm gonna do. And just like that, we have a Mitsubishi sign. Let me know in the comments if you think that it's straight or not. I'm not 100% sure if I'm sold on it. It does look a little bit high to me, but I mean, I guess we'll see. So the next thing I'm gonna jump on, it's one of the things I did in one of my first videos. It was a long time ago at this point, but I went through and I had replaced a bunch of the vacuum lines, and for some reason I was really insistent on wanting to replace this vacuum line for the brake booster. After I did it, someone in the comments had said back then, I didn't realize, because you can't really see it, there is a check valve inside of the line that goes from the back of the intake manifold over to the brake booster. So I bought an aftermarket check valve. Some people in the comments had said you really should go ahead and look at just either replacing it with a new one from STM, or at least trying to salvage the check valve from the original line. This is the original line. Honestly, don't really know back in the day why I wanted to replace it so much. Probably I just wanted new stuff, but honestly it cleans up very well. You can see right here, I don't know if you can see it on camera, there is kind of a bulge in the line. That right there is the check valve. So I'm just gonna go ahead, I cleaned this up. It looks fine and brand new. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this back on. All right, so that was quick, got that done. I am missing the clamps, I don't know where they went. I have one clamp, but it's super rusty, so I'll just go ahead and place on order another 2 clamps for that. So that is all set, but at least I know that it's done. The next thing that I have to do on this list is I do have to go through here, and this is the resistor that I was talking about before. This has to be changed out. There is a new thing. It's like you put it right there, you plug it in, and it's already all set so that it's ready for the high impedance injectors. However, taking this stuff off, I'm a little scared about, because I did try to take this guy off to see if I could mount the pressure regulator there, and the bolt snapped. It's the first bolt in a while that luckily on the Evo that I've snapped, but obviously that spot is pretty rusted. So even though I do want to do that, I think the best option is going to be just to PB blast it, let it sit overnight, and then maybe try to get them off tomorrow. Get them off, not get that guy off, right? So I guess the only thing left to do really on this small list of tasks that I have is I do have a new set of spark plugs. They are the BPR 7 EIXs. So from what I understand, they're made for a kind of a moderate build, not really too crazy, somewhere around 22 PSI. I probably will be around that or lower, I would imagine, once all is said and done. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw these in. The recommended gap size for them is gonna be between 2000s and 24,000s. Well, 0.02 and 0.024. I have them all gapped at 0.023, so they should be all set somewhere nice and right in the middle. So I'm gonna go ahead, get these old ones out, check them out, and we'll get the new spark plugs installed. Okay, never mind, I lied about that. I was wrong. The spark plugs aren't gonna be able to go in today. Apparently they are a 21 millimeter socket, and it has to be a deep socket in order to be able to reach down and like get the spark plug. But at the same time, it has to be a thin walled one because of like how big the space is where the spark plug tube is. So that's probably it for the video. I was hoping to get a little bit more done. Honestly, can't really get much more done until I get the injectors flow tested, get the resistor delete, get the area where the resistor is, get it PB blasted so I'm able to actually remove the bolts. So sorry this wasn't too crazy of a video. Honestly, I feel like I didn't really get much done because I'm kind of getting tired of looking at the car not running. But all I can do is keep learning, keep ordering the parts that I need that I keep forgetting, and just keep trying to get it going. So anyway, thanks for following along on the journey. I do appreciate you guys reaching out with any kind of tips or help that you do have in the comments. But please do go ahead, leave it down in the comments. I want to know from you guys, do you think it is worth it to try to build PTFE lines and do the quick connect with the AN fittings, or am I just stupid for a build that's not even going to make anything past 350 wheel? But I want to know what you guys have to say, so please let me know. But if you do like the content, if you see value in it, if you're just enjoying watching a guy work on a car, please do go ahead, like and subscribe. And until the next one, I will catch you guys, I guess, in the next one. So peace out, keep wrenching. Thanks.